You're just in time. Saved you a seat for The Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self improvement. And if you are interested and you have your doubts, does this self improvement stuff really work? It's supposed to give me my best life, your hopes, your dreams, everything that you can think of in your brain that you want so bad. Is self improvement truly this all inclusive, all in one tool to take care of all of your problems? How I'll begin with that is it absolutely can be, but it's uh, also based on a few conditions that it's not that men have to live by these laws, but a self improver, a man trying to awaken his own king and become his own greatest version. He must acknowledge some of these rules to live by, principles. I love to call it a foundation because when you build it, you can rest whatever you want on it. Even, I would argue, the most difficult, the most uncomfortable, even, we all have different lives, but some of these guys out here who really have the odds stacked against them, even they will be okay. And so, one of the best things for me to help, in order for me to help you establish your foundation, is to dive, as per usual, as deeply as I can into the concept of responsibility and control. For any guy experiencing any kind of difficulty in life, this absolutely applies. I'm telling you, bro, it will work. No, my source is not, trust me, bro. My source is you will see it happen to yourself as soon as you try, from the little things to the massive life overhauls. In order for me to really try and paint this, I'll take it to the extreme. Now, when you have a guy who, it's very difficult for him to live his own life because every single day he is surrounded by all sorts of reasons that his life is awful. This is the terrible job, the crappy place to live, his health, his body. It what's that what's that expression? Oh, I really let myself go. And when that accumulates over years time, that is not just the keg down here. Mine's sizable, but I'm it's a work in progress. I'm proud that I do consistently go to the gym. That's because I've learned to really enjoy it, though. Maybe I hope to get there. But when you're thinking about doing all of these things for yourself and you you haven't yet, it's just none of this stuff has ever happened before for you, then the first mindset for you to settle upon, you have to be able to look at your life like this, bro. And that is, you, I'm not going to say you have all the control. However, you have way more control than you could dream of right now. But when you're really uh, hmm, in the heat of the kitchen, so to speak, you are right in the middle of all of the suffering. It's happening right now. It happened today, yesterday. You're pretty sure it's going to happen again tomorrow. Just all the different facets, the specific facets of your daily lifestyle that you despise. There's so much of this that I don't want to deal with. That's so. This is kind of how guys spiral. Because I mean, uh, one of the best things, I had a mentor tell me this. Even when you have a really, really tiny problem, I'm talking it's super microscopic. Uh, something like something like this is a tiny spillage of food somewhere. It's not even really in the walkway or something like that. This is like a crumb or a single piece of fruit or something like that that rolled into the corner, and it's difficult to reach. It's it's annoyingly difficult to reach. Like really got to get down there and get in there to grab it, and maybe like wipe it real quick, or it's just it's cumbersome because you might have to move things. It's like, oh, but then I gotta like reach back there. In order to reach back there, I gotta pull the shelf out. No, I'm leaving it. I'm just gonna pretend it's not a problem anymore. I'm just gonna let it go. You see, like super super tiny. That's that. I mean, that really is not that serious. And then it gets, but then it goes. This example I'm explaining right now, it goes all the way up into life itself. When a man would say, "For me, for my heart, my mind, my body, my soul, my existence, I let go." The consequence is the same because it may be, however tiny, it may be small right now, but it grows. It grows and it grows and it grows. I know this example is okay. I mean, yeah, yeah, fair enough. I acknowledge that, but the point is, it may be just a little piece of food, but when left there, it could it could grow into something else, whatever bacteria, some kind of mold. It could attract things that you wouldn't want inside your home, and then hey, give it years time, that could get pretty crazy. Just right, just one little how, it could, who knows, you move a few years later, and it's like, oh yeah, all right, let's take the shelf, I want to take it with me, and you you just see a whole ecosystem back there, right? Where that's probably going to take some intense deep cleaning, maybe some biohazard masks. I don't know. This is some you call them the Ghostbusters or something like that. Where if it had been dealt with initially, then maybe it would have just been maybe 10-15 seconds. Yes, it is quite the annoyance. I'll give it that, but nonetheless, 10-15 seconds. You just gotta get up. You got pull it out. Find it. Oh, there's the blueberry or whatever. There's the berry, and then and give it a quick wipe. This is how men are kind of brought to points. I would say brought to breaking points, because it's obviously way worse than that. Reality, in the way that I understand it, is it's almost quite naturally brutal and harsh. There are all sorts of things beyond your control, actually, that will very much affect the quality of your life, your levels of satisfaction, enjoyment, fulfillment, purpose, and peace. And all the other things that you and I are so concerned about. Okay, how swaggy, okay, how much swagger is in this outfit? Like how good do I look? And, like do these people like me? And there's like all sorts of other things. So you have to separate all of this, okay, into what you can control and what you cannot control. So just doing that before you even lift a finger is going to give you so much peace, bro. Men, again, you know, taking it to the extreme in these situations where it's everything. It's not even really any one thing. It's all of life. I feel like this from the moment I wake up to the moment I go back to sleep. And that is so crazy to maybe to have that one momentary lapse of solace during unconsciousness. Okay, they do say sleep is the cousin of death, so you know yeah, for sure, yeah, no, life is not that bad. It's only kind of good when I'm not living it. To reverse this, you have to begin, I would say, sifting through all of it. This is not even that deep, but like, just take a random day. I mean, you could use today, or why don't you use tomorrow? I would assume that you are pretty well informed on your itinerary for tomorrow. So you look at that, and right off the bat, it feels overwhelming because you know how it's going to go down. You've lived it for however long, possibly years, and you check it all out, and it's like, This is nothing that I want to deal with. Controllables and uncontrollables, brother, some of these things you shouldn't be dealing with. That's the thing. How people receive you in life, as badly as you would want that reception to be as amazing as possible, who does not want to show up for the rest of humanity, so to speak? Just okay, all other human beings you will ever interact with, that's far from all of humanity, but it might as well be. You talk about luck of the draw. Who knows who you're going to run into? And who would not want to be able to dictate that? Every single interaction I'll ever have for the rest of my life is going to be perfect. That is a massive uncontrollable. You know, uh, traffic. Okay, yes, you can leave earlier. I mean, it's that only gets so sustainable depending on how much earlier. I mean, at a certain point, you leave when you leave. You try to leave as early as possible. I mean, you should, to try to make it on time. I mean, right? No excuses. But when you've already done everything in your power, I mean, there is just absolutely no way. Yeah, I don't. Who does that? Who is going to sit in the parking lot for an extra 3 hours? Do you know what I mean? So you try and make sure you set aside enough time, and you do, and you get out there, and you still get hit. That's not uncontrollable. I can absolutely ruin a man's day, though, for the rest of his day. And this whole situation of going about it alone. Oh, there's no one in my life right now to support me in this way. No loving partner. No loyal band of brothers. Okay, yeah, currently, yes, currently, sure, but at the same time, that still doesn't have anything to do with what you are able to do for yourself. There is a separation there. There is a line that differentiates uncontrollables and controllables. When you pivot all of your attention in life to simply your controllables, this is where everything begins to change. And in order to do that, you you have to. It's not actually a choice, but for a guy that is looking at his own life, like, really, what am I supposed to do about this? Because I hate everything. Like, everything sucks. It's very gloomy and doomy. That feeling of it's not worth it. Nothing is worth it. I would say the controllables are worth it. Right? It's not nothing, but at the same time, it's not everything. No, not all of it is worth it. Of course, we all recognize spreading yourself too thin. That's absolutely a thing, but it's still going to be difficult. I mean, when you do this, and I mean, you just look at your own day tomorrow, and you think, okay, so I am able to at the very least try and exercise emotional control in areas that should not be bothering me as much as they are. There are going to be choices and decisions, okay? Tiny ones, okay? Little ones that pop up, all that they are littered throughout a man's morning, afternoon, and evening. It is not all or nothing. It isn't one choice in which, if I do this, it's going to be a great day. If I don't do this, it's going to be an awful day. It's most usually, maybe some of the really big things, okay, but most usually it's made up of all sorts of little ones. It isn't really any one, again, one size fits all. It doesn't really happen like that. In one day, for you to take the same situation, the same reality, the same life scenario that's been bothering you for, how about, again, dealing with the extreme, how about it's been bothering you for your entire life so far? It's every day. It's been every day. To break out of that, there is actually so much for you to let go of. This is what I mean by it it's simple, but at the same time it is complex, because the complexity comes from understanding you can't just try to lose weight. That's a great goal, but it can't just be, yeah, okay, try to, the diet, the nutrition must be examined. Okay, timing and schedule is actually must be examined. That is really that no, I mean, because we're all different. uh you trying to hit that 5 a.m. run when you are just a person that would, just how you are. I'm the nature of your individual being. You actually just really enjoy evening runs. That's just how you like to go for the run after work. It's just kind of how you're built. This is something to be found out, and it's something that you can control. What you cannot control is ensuring the conditions to go out for that run will always be perfect. That you cannot control. That will drive you crazy. I gotta always feel like it, right? I always have to want to. I need to be motivated. I need to have the outfit, the joggers, the specific. These are the ergonomic shoes I wear to make my run feel, as nice as possible. I got to make sure I got the playlist going, in my earbuds, and um, I got let me route the path first of where I'm going to go jog, and then how I'm going to get back and all that. And got to have the food all ready when I get back so I can eat immediately, not have to wait. And just like so many things. When the one controllable here in this example, it really just, you need to leave and you'll be fine. You need to be able to exit your home, and you got to be able to really, push your body up to a a a high enough speed that you can get that cardiovascular work, which is the whole point of doing it, which is what makes it so healthy, right? The aerobic benefit of that activity, that is a huge difference. It cannot be underestimated. So guys that are not looking at it like this, when you're bogged down by so much of the uncontrollables, oh, but like, I don't want to go like this, like, you know that's nothing to consider. That's nothing for you to think about. I don't want to, people are going to see me. What are they going to think when they see me? What's that guy? Like, who does he think he is? He's trying to jog. Why is he jogging so slow? Why is he so out of breath? Didn't he just start? Like, all these crazy, I know this is kind of like, these are really more personal demons, intrusive thoughts. It's just general negativity. But it exists on, how I see this, it exists on the side of what you cannot control. There's a deeper layer to all of those things. Really, not every single one of them. How do you look? It's not about how you look, right? That is the hidden layer. It's about if you go or not. What other people think? What if the whole world laughs? Right? Yeah, I did this an extreme episode today. I think it's just sometimes when I think of the example, it's like I think it's just better if I say it like this. So, no, seriously, that's never going to happen. But if it does, should that be enough to stop you, bro, from doing what you need to do to ensure you do not pass away from a heart attack before you hit 40? Okay, you know what I mean? So you can get some health, you can get some sunlight if it's in the evening, so you can get some fresh air. Okay, all right. So you can tone down the grizzly that, down here, that we accumulate over the winter, or maybe kind of just like, if you're like me, all the time. Okay, because I don't know about you, but I'm a like a cheeseburger, or maybe some pizza or something like that. Is that's those, special place in my heart. And these foods are 365 for me. So self-improvement, okay, can't work without the responsibility to control only what you can. Only what you can. So that's why I'm using such extreme examples. I mean, hey, look, bro, you might not hate your life. I really hope you don't. You should love it as much as possible. If you're interested in loving it more, I promise, bro, this is some gold for you right here. And I say that because in the most dire of situations, you can still look at your life like this and separate it and understand it's enough. There's peace there awaiting you to simply stay on the side of, okay, I can drink this or I can drink that. I can eat this or I can eat that. Okay, I can go for the run or I won't. I can go to the gym and get a workout or I'm not going to. I mean, it's not even that crazy. There are plenty of things you can do at home to get jacked. No, I really do mean that. It might not be the top tier, pinnacle of your physique potential. Fair enough. Oh, but there's to like to look good, to look so good, to even I mean, I don't want to bring vanity into this, but we keep it real here at the Pillars of Man. It's I have to say it is some excellent motivation, right? For a baby girl to round the corner and she sees you and she's kind of just like, okay, right? Like oh, I see this guy is definitely working on it, and just to get there, just to be able to elevate you there from zero, for a man who never works out and he never exercises, and he just fitness is not a part of his life. There's plenty for him to do, just hitting the ground with different variations of push-ups and sit-ups. It's all sorts of stuff. So what's the real choice here? After everything I've said, what's the true catalyst or ignition to get all of this started? Your willingness of the attempt. No. That's not to burden you, though. See, this is the thing. That isn't to make your life harder. No, it's actually the opposite effect. I know that sounds very contradictory because, I mean, I use the word burden. To take on more burden in life is to suffer harder. But, I mean, hey, funny enough, in the way that God built men, okay, for some strange reason, embedded into the fibers of our being as just males, when it is controlled, when it is when it is strategized, and it's the right amount and it's the right kind of thing to do, more burden in this way will transform you. It will take you to where you're trying to go in life. See, that's my promise I gave you earlier. It becomes inevitable. And I say that because your willingness of the attempt, that is the control. That is the control. When you pick that up, it takes responsibility. You, I, in the way that I just said it, I'm like, I'm dead serious. You yourself, you have to pick it up. That this is physical and spiritual. This is mental and emotional. This is all of it because it's all of you. You have to zero in on this one. This is maybe the core, the core essence of just what I'm talking about for this episode. That responsibility right there is, you're the only one that can exercise it. It doesn't work in any other way. So when you say yes, well, then that's when the game changes. That's when, I know how cliche this sounds, but I believe it though. And that's when anything becomes possible. So for the workout, okay, and I'll stay on fitness because this example it kind of it kind of encompasses this topic pretty neatly. So the literal act of picking up this responsibility is you say to yourself, "Let me just try and do 5 push-ups." No, because I'm staying on the I'm staying on the demographic of men who really never have. You know, for some of us, it's absolutely not 5 push-ups. It's no, I have 4 sets of bench, right? And then leg press, and then I'm doing dips or RDLs, and but that's you know that's a lot of experience right there. That's a whole different mentality and lifestyle. I want to make this, like, everything I'm saying is not conceptual. It's not just to get it is. But once you do and you try and it happens, it's revolutionary. And that's applicable for any man. This right here, this kind of control I keep talking about. The Again, the willingness of the attempt. I will try. I'll try. It's so how about the moldy berry that rolled under the shelf? You have to try. I'm just saying, bro. You're not gonna be able to Charles Xavier that bad boy out the corner. It's just not happening like that. Okay? If you're able to do that, I don't know why you're watching this podcast. Okay, bro? You should be doing all sorts of other things in life than trying to self-improve. But for the rest of us human beings, no. It's gonna take some, like, yeah, it's annoying, but you gotta get up, you gotta get over there, and you gotta get under there. But as trivial as I just made it seem, what you don't see, what's difficult to think about in that moment, is the disaster. The alien ecosystem that Singleberry will develop into in years' time. You prevent all of that. Brother, I am going to put it back on you now. I am going to use your life. So, what would you like to prevent? Do you want to enjoy tomorrow more? Do you want a chance at to date? See what this romance stuff is all about. Like a better job or more money or whatever. It You absolutely can. Now, but see, the thing is, are you going to take responsibility over that? If you are, then you will see this truth awaits any man brave enough to confront his own life in this way. You'll see. The control was always there for you. You always had the ability to, like, walk over there and just, like, this is my attempt. All right, here we go. I'll give it. I'll give it. I'll give it a go. I'll try. I'll get into it. You could argue, maybe even half a century ago. I believe half a century ago was 70s. Okay, so like groovy and tubular, I think. So half a century ago, which is not really that long ago, but it's so crazy. Just like, time. Okay, right? Am I right? All right, for time, how it flies. Maybe there were some parts of my conversation today that really just don't hold any water. It's not realistic. Oh, okay. How would I know? You might already see where I'm headed. How would I know how to make healthy food for myself? Where am I gonna go? Like, what gym? Were there gyms in the 70s? Maybe. How about not as many commercial gyms as there are available today? How about that? Where am I? I don't have a gym. What gym? What are these? What are these sets? What the heck is an RDL? You know, lack of information. You're just working with a lot of data that isn't available. That's what makes this time period for you and I to be alive for right now so interesting. Some men would despair at this because the despair comes from just like knowing deep down it removes your excuse. You, you can't really have one anymore. Not in an age in which if there really is something I don't know anything about this, okay? And then it might take you a few minutes, watch a video or two, maybe read an article, get through it, okay? Like take a little bit of time, but the answer is right there. And once you have the answer, the responsibility returns. Now it's on you. Now it's on you, bro. And now it comes back to, remember, I said those choices and decisions. You're going to get a whole bunch: morning, afternoon, evening. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're a terrible person. You're not taking self-improvement seriously enough unless you can hit them all. The goal is to hit them all. The point is to try. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. A lot of guys, they're not, men who don't try, so to speak, in life. It's like, oh, well, I mean, hey, man, what are you, oh, like, you're not having you look like you're not having a really good time in life. I know. Okay. I feel that. What are you doing about it? And then it's kind of like, everything is so difficult. There's really nothing I can do. It's all awful. I'm really unlucky. This is a terrible situation, and I'm the one that has to be in it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not that none of that. All of that can be very true. I don't mean to argue any of that. It's just it's uncontrollable. Life is life. Do you know, like, there's not there's no reason. It's a kind of a waste of energy in this way to focus on those things. Like, to acknowledge them is fine. Oh, life is terrible right now, and I do feel like crap all the time. I'm so tired. My diet's really bad, blah blah blah. I definitely don't want to do this job. It's just what I'm able to uh, um, uh, in order to provide me an income to make ends meet. That's what I'm able to do for now. What it really comes down to is, oh, okay. So no matter how awful the situation could possibly be for myself right now in life, what I am still able to do is I can still pick up the responsibility to exercise the control I really do have in the areas of life. I'm going to take a little bit further. In the areas of life where that's all you need. You, like, I know it doesn't seem like much. Okay, sure, I can control my own feelings. I can control my diet. I can control my own hydration levels. I can control when I go to sleep and how early I wake up. And I can control what I do with whatever, okay, sliver of free time I get back when I'm not on my boss's clock. Whatever, okay? But that's what you're working with. That's what you're working with. This is why I say willingness. To be unwilling is, I mean, hey, okay, it's like you, like, who, you, me, any man. How can any of us have qualms with an individual declaring that for his own life? I'm not willing. I'm good, brother. Oh, y'all on that self improvement? Good for you guys. I'm chilling. That's fine. The real problem is when you're alone behind closed doors and it's just you're not so chilling. everything hurts. It's caving all around you, caving in on you. You know, everything's getting right closer and closer and closer. Are you being kind of shoved into, you know, an even tighter space, an even more uncomfortable space, etc., etc. Right? It just gets worse. It gets heavier. It gets more difficult to wake up to. It gets harder to carry on. It does not have to be like that. My answer for you today is you will begin pushing back, okay, against everything that's bothering you in life. If you would just simply, so figure out, all right, all the things that you can't control in life that you generally, there's nothing you can do about these things. Really go over it. I mean, my face, okay, like skincare routine, controllable. Genetics, uncontrollable. Do you see? Um, 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 a new job immediately, that's kind of uncontrollable. Budgeting and figuring out how much money I have left over for the investment into a new career or a new skill or a side hustle or whatever, controllable. You know, um, uh, how a woman receives my cold approach or invitation to a date or just whatever in the interaction, okay, etc., etc., uncontrollable. What I say and how I say it, and how healthy I look, and how I show up, and how confident I can be, and how relaxed and like not nervous I can be in the interaction. That's on you, brother. You gotta separate them. Okay, what after you do that, you're gonna see plenty. Don't let it overwhelm you. Once again, it's not about, I mean, the idea is to try, right? Because it's going to be so much, but everything that you really do have control over, it's the attempt is to master it all, is to get all these things on lock, you know killing the diet. I'm at the gym three four times a week. I'm literally practicing and learning charisma and trying to be more relaxed and in less social anxiety. Understand why I have social anxiety if a man has it, and that can lead to trauma unpacking. That can lead to healing from old wounds and terrible situations, conditioning and upbringing. Do you see? It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, but that's the journey. For you to be, for you to accept traversing this journey will change everything for you. And I absolutely hope it does. It's just even more than that. I would want you to just experience it for yourself. Once you do, and you see all this stuff is very real. Life isn't that bad. It never had to be. Things really do start looking up. You wake up with to brighter days, days in which okay, still my life, still all the issues and problems and whatnot, but this is what I'm going to try to do about it because I have control over this. And that responsibility, which is only for me, I got that. I'll take it. Okay. When you do the game will change. All right. And you're gonna absolutely kill it. That's when you really start, you stick with it for sure. And you'll really start to see some progress and growth and maturity. And all of this leads to the sweetest stuff: your joy, your happiness, your purpose, your peace, your fulfillment, your greatest version. Best of luck. brother, you need some help, or you like conversations like this, and then you come right back here. I kind of talk about anything and everything that goes into male self-improvement, because you're watching the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self-improvement surrounding philosophy, masculinity, wellness, lifestyle. I'm your host, Kumo. I continue to reshape the modern male reality, giving any man who wishes to pull the very best out of himself a way to do that. Thanks so much for being here, bro. You like stuff like this, hit that subscribe button for me. And if you got something on this, maybe hit the like button too. And I hope to see you real soon in my next one. Same time, same place, right back here. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.